This is a video about what an MBA program really is, its valid role in the world. Now, for those of you who are like me, believe that if you add the pluses and the minuses up of the American MBA program from 1900 to 2000, that on balance, professorial knowledge injected into business during that 100 years was negative. Very negative. And in fact, all the major changes in business practice from 1900 to the year 2000 came from other cultures. German culture in the form of Peter Drucker, Japanese culture in the form of Total Quality, Silicon Valley, California in terms of the internet and the web, that it was always other cultures teaching business to America, never MBA program professors. Now, they did little stuff around the edges, but they were not the big hitters at all. And what they did contribute was, on balance, harmful. And if you look at the Harvard case studies, you'll really see absolute proof of this. Now, I only had 3 of my own businesses that were written up in Harvard case studies, but they took anything that was team-oriented, made it individual. They found lone heroes doing stuff instead of groups of people doing stuff. They made things, brilliant analytical brains and ideas created successes, and not just gradual insights built up by 10 people working and cooperating and sharing information together. So they made everything American, individualistic, analytic, elite, stratified by skill, and it very much reflected that professors are the best people the world has ever known and the key to all success. And that's what professors taught. And that version of business. And it's a lie, it's a neurotic distortion, it's a self-loving narcissism, and only fools believe it. Now, if you're like me and you see all of that, now Europeans see that, of course, Germans see that, of course, the Japanese see that, the Chinese see that, only the Americans don't see it, then what is the value? Now, it sounds like I would be not interested in MBA programs, but I'm just not interested in the American sickness. And the sickness, finally is intellectually boils down to saying that the stockholder is the only stakeholder who needs benefit from the business. That's the primary stakeholder. This is Jensen's agency theory at the University of Rochester before he went to Harvard. And this is Milton Friedman's efficient market hypothesis, which turns out to be absolutely false mathematically. In 2008, is $13 trillion of proof that his estimates are off a little bit. And so what you have is a right-wing Nazi-like ideology of we need to sell this idea to the American public so that we can get our 3rd boat in the Hamptons and our 3rd house in the Catskills and pay for a treatment program for the cocaine addiction of our kids. Now, if you believe that with me, then and you go to MBA programs in Canada and you find a solution for everything wrong in America. You go to MBA programs in Europe and France, and you find a solution for everything wrong in America. You go to MBA programs in Japan and China, and you find the cure for everything wrong with MBA. So I'm not talking about MBA programs. I'm talking about a particular American sickness that's, in the news today, it's destroying the United States economy. Most of us are free of that already. Just the Americans are trapped by it. But it has influence in academia. Spain, Australia have stupidly copied the American torture assistant professors for 7 years system, wrongly thinking that made American universities great when it was really robber baron money paying for fleeing European scholars between the wars. So just bad history. Now, what do you do? But I have hundreds of Japanese, Chinese students I've sent to MBA programs over the years. So I still find there's value there. I send them to American MBA programs. But I prepare them for the 2 sicknesses they're going to find there and this religion that they're going to find there. And if they subtract out the religion, what is an MBA program's ultimate value and aim? In Europe, in America, and in Asia. It teaches competent execution of any goal. Now, when the MBAs start talking about what the goal should be, a la Milton Friedman's religion, or Paul Samuelson's religion, or Mackinaw's religion at Harvard, these right-wing guys. And I know Samuelson's supposed to be left-wing, but he's left in a very right-wingy occupation. When you get religious, when you move into aims, then you become a fool. And you hurt people, millions of people. But as long as MBAs are seen as whatever your aim is, we will show you how to competently execute it, then they're wonderful. And God knows that NGOs and social enterprises really, really do harm to their clients and themselves by incompetent management. And the quality of management of employees and volunteers is horrendous in most of these social enterprises because nobody knows professional management. And my students work there for 10 years, and they learn all about Africa and all about poor people and all about the World Bank and how it funds only men and the funding men doesn't work. And they learn all that stuff, and then they come back and they want a more serious job in part of the economy, and they can't get one because they don't have any professional management skills. They can't market well, they can't manage other people well, they can't hire well, they can't define processes well, make them interlock well, they can't gather customer requirements well, they can't manage budgets well. And so you can't do a social enterprise or an NGO if you can't competently execute your aims. What do you need? You need public administration department to get your passion aimed at the tipping points that will change the world for the better. And you need a business school partner to teach you what, once you get your aims clear, here's how to competently execute them with marketing, with process design, with human resources and hiring and managing people, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So you need both parts of the puzzle. You need the passion, aim, development part, and you need the competent execution part. So that's my model of MBAs, that they are where I send my kids to learn how to competently execute aims. And I send them there warning them that any aim, information, and tendencies they get are coming from a very sick, neurotic American neurosis that was created in the 1970s when the men, because MBAs were all men then, the men decided without any women present that what they needed was status and rank, typical male hormones at work. That's the most important thing they needed was status and rank, and the way to get it was to base everything on a discipline. They chose economics. And thereafter, they became dangerous people. And they grew up, such really dangerous right-wing people like Milton Friedman and Mackinac at Harvard and these excuse makers for greed on Wall Street. Now, the Europeans are free of that. The Japanese, East Asians are free of that. Only the Americans are trapped by that stuff and deny it. They're so defensive, so afraid of it. But you need to know that you can go to a top 10 American MBA program safely if you avoid their religion. And if you avoid their religion, they will teach you how to competently market, how to competently design and architecture processes, how to competently collect customer requirements. And boy, you need that in social enterprises and NGOs. You don't have that, no matter how pure and wonderful your aims are, you're not going to help anybody very much.